Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Self Transformation Challenge. This is a 21-day challenge to change your entire life, your perspectives, your habits, and create new systems to achieve all of your goals. If you haven't seen day one, you can click the link up above and it'll take you to day one and you can watch that. Pause this, come back so you can continue on day two because we're going to use the homework that you were assigned yesterday to make sure that you get as much as possible out of today. Today, we are focused on limiting beliefs, overcoming doubt, and just kind of changing your mindset and starting to make that mindset shift. This entire process, this first week, is just about your mindset. And the second week, we'll go on to building different habits and systems. But for now, all I want you to do is work on your mindset. Your mindset is so important when it comes to achieving your goals. If you do not believe that you are capable of achieving, you will not achieve. As Henry Ford says, whether you believe that you can or you can't, you are always right. So let's talk about why there are certain things that you don't believe you can do. If there is any limiting belief that you believe you have about yourself, this is the time where we're going to conquer those things. Before we do that, though, let's have a quick review. Did you write down a day in your dream life? Have you read it at all today? If you haven't read it today, pause this video, take a second, read through it, feel it, take a deep breath, and come back and start the video. I can wait. Okay, now that you've done that, let's go ahead and check those habits. Did you do any of those habits today if they were daily habits? If they weren't, don't worry about it. If it's a weekly habit and it hasn't come to that day of the week, absolutely no problem. But if you were someone that set up daily habits, did you achieve those habits today? I am posting this very late in the evening. So most likely, unless it's a pre-bedtime habit, you've already done it. Let me know in the comments below if you actually achieved any of your habits today. I understand that this is probably like the first or second day that you're doing them, so you're still getting used to it, but I would love to know if you were able to maintain it so far. So let's talk about your limiting beliefs and how do you know if you have any. So one way that I like to think about limiting beliefs is, let's do an example. If someone says, oh, you're not a really good piano player, but you went to Juilliard, you know that you can play the piano, someone's criticism like that doesn't even hit you because you know that you're that girl when it comes to that thing. But there are other things that someone might say, I don't know, something that you're not really confident in. And when they criticize you or critique you on it, you're like, oh, maybe I'm not that good at that. Because you have a limiting belief in your mind that resonates with their comment. That is the only reason anyone's criticism makes sense to you. Because if you truly believe that you are a great gymnast, like if someone said to Simone Biles, you're not really that good of a gymnast, there is not a part of her brain that is going to say, oh, this person's tripping. They're jealous, they're whatever. But that is not true of who I am because she does not have that limiting belief because she knows it in her soul to not be who she is. So if anyone ever gives you negative feedback, whether it's well intentioned or not, and part of you kind of questions it, that may be a limiting belief that you have, and you don't even realize that it's something that you believe about yourself. So many of us have limiting beliefs. And let's do an exercise to make sure that you can figure out what yours are. Because if you don't even know what they are, it's going to be really difficult to go through this process because you're going to find yourself failing in the same areas because they're areas you've always failed in or thought you failed in because you have a limiting belief that's stopping your brain from making the positive and required next choices. Okay, so to do this, all we're going to do is think about three goals that you set for yourself in the last 2 to 3 years. And they need to be goals you didn't achieve. That's a very important part of this. So write three goals down that you did not achieve in the last 2 to 3 years and write out the reason of why you think you didn't achieve those goals. For some people, it's going to be, oh, I didn't have resources. For some people, it's going to be, I didn't have the time, or I got scared. I was afraid of this, or I was nervous about that. Whatever those reasons are, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. I just want to make sure you write them down so you can keep track of them because a lot of us don't necessarily work through those issues. And I want you to look closer at that list, especially if what you wrote down isn't something that's internal to you. Think about what you would have done if you did have those resources, if you did have the time required to do that thing. What else would have held you back from achieving that goal or achieving that dream? Why have you still not achieved it? If someone handed you the resources, if I said I could give you $5,000 today, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But if I did in another reality where I'm like wealthy or something, if I give you $5,000 to achieve your goals, what would stop you then? If someone gave you the one thing that you said you needed to achieve your goal, would you actually be able to achieve it? Or how do you really see that playing out? And if you see it playing out in a way that's not like fully of your best self, why do you think that's what you would do? Why do you think that you would fail in that area? For most of us, it ends up being something that we've done in the past, it's an experience that we had, and it didn't necessarily end positively. For instance, if you try to join the dance team and you got teased as a dancer, you may feel now that you're not actually a good dancer, when in reality, you probably are a really good dancer. You were just caught off guard, you were lacking confidence that day, you were trying to impress somebody, and the reality is completely different than the mindset that you have about yourself. And that's why it's important to write these things down. So now that you're looking at that list, you kind of start seeing what limiting beliefs you may have about yourself. I want you to ask yourself why you have those beliefs. And then I want you to ask yourself, where did you learn this habit? Where did you learn this belief? And was it a belief that you had about yourself, or a belief that someone told you about yourself and you just kind of indoctrinated it inside of your soul? For instance, let's say you struggled in math as a child, but were you ever the one that said you weren't good at math? Or was there a teacher or a parent or an adult figure that was like, she really ain't good at math? The reality may be that you could have been good at math, but in limiting belief was introduced to you at such a young age, you just kind of inherited it. You trusted the people that were older than you, the people that guided you. And so you never believed that you were good at this thing. When in reality, you probably could be good at that thing. Most of us can be good at just about everything if we put in the time and the effort. We compare ourselves to these people who have put in all this extra time, all this extra work than we have, or maybe they're slightly more talented than us, but we could still achieve almost the exact same results. What's even more strenuous, and something you'll notice the farther you get in your life and closer to your goals, is that there are so many people that have achieved what you wanted, and then you meet them, you get to know them, you start talking, you're like, they're not actually that great. That's why they tell you don't meet your heroes, because they're so inspiring when you don't know them. And then once you get to know them, you're like, there is no reason I shouldn't be successful, because there is absolutely nothing different between me and them. And if anything, I'm a kinder person. I think I might be a little smarter than them. There's no reason that I can't achieve my goal. So that brings us to the third thing I want you to do. Look for someone that has achieved your goal and look at how they've done it. Not necessarily so that you can copy it, but that you can have inspired action and have like a tangible plan to follow. So, seeing 1 to 2 people doing what you do, especially if they look like you, this is really for my minorities, for my women. Don't just look for a white Caucasian male to follow. It is so important to have role models that look like you, because it helps program your brain that you are also capable of those same things. We are subconsciously programmed in so many different ways because of the world we live in, because of the mass media available to us, that just seeing some random white man be successful may not be enough for you if are not also white presenting. So try to find someone that has done something similar or something inspiring to you, so that you can see that you can achieve the exact same thing. And now, once you've done that, that brings us to affirmations. I know everyone talks about affirmations. There's a reason everyone talks about affirmations, but I'm going to change the way you do it. So, right now, let's do a quick revamp. You have habits that you're doing every day, you have a day in your life of what like your best self would be like, what you would do in the morning, what you would eat, what would you would go out and do. And you should also have a list of goals that you have not been able to achieve, have a list of why you think you have not been able to achieve those goals, and starting to identify limiting beliefs that you have about yourself, which is why you haven't achieved those goals. So once you have all of that, pause, come back. And once you have all those things, that brings us to our affirmations. So once you have a third column next to those limiting beliefs, and after each limiting belief, I want you to start writing affirmations in contrast to those limiting beliefs. Now, you are not going to write these down every day. You're not going to read them out loud. I want you to take your phone, take your computer, whatever. I have an iPhone, so I do this in my voice notes, but I create affirmations that are strategically placed and built by me. These are not affirmations I find online. They're specifically targeted towards my limiting beliefs. And then I record them in voice notes in my own voice, and I play them over and over again. And that way it sounds very similar. I don't think everyone has a voice in their head, but for those of us who do, I heard that like 30 or 40% of the planet doesn't have like an internal voice? If you don't, let me know in the comments because I want to know what it's like to be you. But for those of us who do have that internal voice that's always talking to us, it's in your own voice, right? Like if you sit and you like close your eyes, you start listening, and you start talking in your head, it sounds like you. It sounds like your speaking voice for the most part. And that's why I want you to do this because then it's going to kind of sound like your voice and it's going to trick your brain. If you are really determined to make this count, you can record it in your own voice and do like some type of like meditation music or one of those tones like like I think it's like 426 and like 523 different tones that are known for healing or putting your brain in like a theta brainwave state so that you can more easily accept the information. But the point of this is really to target those limiting beliefs with affirmations in your own voice. And what I do, because I'm so impatient, because I have ADHD, is I listen to them on a faster speed. So I record it very clearly. I talk like this, it's a bit slower. I'm making sure that I enunciate everything and then I'm saying it with passion and purpose. Like, I am beautiful inside and out. My brown skin does not identify who I am, but it shines through in my personality and in my culture, blah, 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 whatever it is. I don't even think that sentence made a lot of sense. But the point is, you need to make it matter to you. You need to have emotion when you read it so that when you listen back to it, it kind of draws out that exact same emotion. And that way it's a bit easier for you to identify with it, to resonate with it. And every time I go for a walk in the morning, if I go outside, I listen to it like 3 or 4 times. And I think in total, I had about 20 affirmations with different areas of my life. So, like, there's 3 or 4 things that I target in my dream life. And each of those 3 or 4 things had about 4 or 5 affirmations. And those 4 or 5 affirmations are targeted on the reasons why I feel like I would struggle to achieve those goals and why I think I haven't achieved those goals already. So, if you've never done this before, let me know how this works out for you in the comments. This is something I do probably 3 to 5 times a week, depending on what I'm doing throughout the day. Sometimes I just listen to it at work. It's also really nice to listen to your own voice instead of somebody else's doing affirmations. Similar to what Tam had said, Tam Core, if you've never seen her videos, she has a lot of like feminine manifestation videos. And she talks about how in your vision board, it's really nice for you to put your face on the people because otherwise you're just looking at basically a magazine of other people. You don't see yourself in it. And I think this kind of works the same way for auditory learners, or if you're someone that likes to listen to audiobooks, this way it just feels more like you. And it's so important to make sure that your affirmations are targeted. That is one thing I think people struggle with. And I wish people would be more intentional about their affirmations because when you seek out affirmations, they're not always going to be the best affirmations for you. If you already believe that you're pretty, hearing I am beautiful is not as helpful for you as hearing I am worthy of success without blah, blah, blah. Those are the affirmations. They're a bit more long winded. They're not like the catchy keyword ones that you hear on the internet, and they're targeted towards your specific goals and shortcomings. So, that is your homework for today. Create those affirmations, link them to your areas of growth, which are your limiting beliefs and your self doubts, and then make sure that you record them and try to listen to them at least once a day. Actually, I challenge you to twice a day. I would love for you to listen to this at sometime in the morning and also in the evening. If you have a speaker system, this is great to put on like I don't want my Google to start speaking. To do on like a Google speaker or Alexa or any of like those little speakers that'll just like play throughout your house. But I love doing it in my headphones because then I can put them on like noise canceling. And then it's just like me listening to me over and over again. I'm like, okay, okay, yes, Katrina's right. I am listening to my higher self, basically telling me the things that I'm going to achieve. So now we are down to the final piece, and some would even say the most important piece of this entire project that you are going on, and that is gratitude. Gratitude is immensely important to manifestation, to getting anything you want out of life. You really do need to be thankful and feel it in your spirit. Adding the emotion to it is incredibly important. Whether you're one of those woo woo manifestation people, you're a Neville Goddard fan, you like The Secret, or you are a Christian with like no one, what is it in the Bible about being a cheerful giver and like being thankful to God for what you receive? Um, In Neville Goddard's teaching as a manifestation coach, he thinks of it more as being in the state of the wish fulfilled and being grateful that your wish was fulfilled. And so, regardless of kind of where you stand in the world of spirituality, all of us need to be thankful for what we have and show gratitude for what we potentially could be given to really see the best out of our manifestations, out of our goals, out of our systems and habits, and growing into the person that we want to be. For instance, if this is something that's hard for you to do, you can absolutely get a journal. There are 5-minute journals, and there's actually a 5-minute gratitude journal that is extremely popular. If that's something that's difficult for you to do naturally, this is something you can just purchase for yourself. I don't think it's too expensive. They're on Amazon, on the TikTok shop. It just kind of depends on what avenue you kind of want to go down. For those who don't want to do it that way, if you want to stick to like this free program that I'm doing for this 21 days, I would keep it extremely simple. All you have to do is once you listen to those affirmations that we talked about earlier, you're just going to listen to those affirmations for one cycle, thank God, universe, whatever you believe in, for the opportunity to even try to achieve those goals. And you're also going to thank source, energy, whatever, for the opportunities you've had so far and for the lessons that you've learned that have gotten you to this point. So you're thinking backward and you're thinking forward and you're thinking for the present. And then you can listen to those affirmations again. Think about how you would feel once you achieve those affirmations and goals for yourself. And once you're really embodying that person, how grateful and how good that's going to feel. The emotion is so, so, so important. If you are just listening to affirmations, it's not going to really make much of a difference. That's not how neuro linguistic programming works. So it's partially, yes, about repetition, just getting it into your head over and over again. But the other side of it is absolutely emotion based. So we are going to make sure that you get that emotion base as well. I'm hoping that you guys really get the full experience of this so that you can get the best results and the quickest results possible. So now that we've decided that you're going to show gratitude, be gracious, be thankful, let's go ahead and recap everything that you have to do from this video today. And then I'll let you guys go and be great and continue to transform. Today, you were given a few tasks. You were also required to look a little deeper into yourself than we required yesterday, and every day is going to get a little deeper into your person than the day before. So, starting with your initial homework, you already had to write down your dream day in your life. You also had to, from your homework today, write down some affirmations. How are you supposed to write down those affirmations? Those affirmations are supposed to be attuned specifically to your limiting beliefs. How are you supposed to determine your limiting beliefs? You are supposed to think of goals. If you can't think of any, if you can't think of any limiting beliefs, this is the step you're going to take. If you already know what they are, feel free to skip this and go ahead and just start writing those affirmations to combat your limiting beliefs and your self doubts. If you do not know what they are, I would like you to think back to a goal you were trying to achieve, some a habit that you wanted to like fully embody into your life and you were unable to do so. And I would like you to tell me, or not tell me, but like write in your notes why you were unable to achieve those things. And if it wasn't due to a lack of resources or time, I want you to write a why again on why you were unable to do it. What about yourself? What do you see in yourself that you were unable to commit to something like that or to be able to bring your goal to fruition? If it was due to resources or time, now it's a prioritization question. Why wasn't this worth your priority? Was it due to your responsibilities to somebody else? Was it due to like a time restraint? You had to focus on your job instead? Or was there a reason that you were not really prioritizing this, why you weren't making the time? Did you have time for TikTok, but not time to work on your goals? That one's personal to me because I spend so much time scrolling. I love social media. That's not important. Anyway, build your affirmations based on these specific things. And once you have those affirmations written down, you are going to record them on your phone, on your iPad, if you're really fancy, on a speaker from or a microphone for a podcast, whatever works for you. And you are going to read those affirmations in your own voice with emotion to yourself. Once you go ahead and read through those affirmations, you are going to listen to it on a daily basis, preferably twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. But if that's not possible for you, completely understand. No worries about that. But if you are able to do so, Bonus points if you are able to record some type of binaural beat or a tone that's known for like healing or putting your brain into theta waves. Having that on the background will help your brain kind of absorb that information a little bit faster. And then once you do all of that, the last step is gratitude. The first time you listen to it, think about why you'd be grateful for all of those things, achieving them, achieving those goals, how happy you would be, how fulfilled you would be in those moments. And also being grateful for the opportunity to even go for any of your goals and dreams. So many people never get the opportunity to be their best selves and to go for what they want in life. And you are so blessed to have that opportunity. So be thankful for that as well, whether you are Christian, Muslim, Hindu, it doesn't matter. Every religion has a basis in gratitude and thankfulness. So that should be easy for you. That should be easy for everybody. So I want to make sure that you're adding that in there as well. And that when you're listening to these affirmations, you are putting yourself emotionally in that place. How will you feel when you achieve this? Because it's not an if, it is a when. There is absolutely nothing blocking you from achieving your goals except your mindset, your habits, and your systems. One of those three is usually why we are not achieving our goals. It is not due to other people, it is not due to other resources, it's not due to who's president of the United States. It is usually one of those things, our mindsets, our habits, or our systems. So let's figure out which one is yours, and we will work on that over the next 3 weeks. This is the end of day 2. I will see you guys tomorrow. If this is the first one you are watching, feel free to go back in the playlist and watch for the day before and then come back to this one. And otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a beautiful evening and good luck achieving all of your goals. Bye.